Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. I am so pumped for this one. We're talking about personal growth today, and we've got a real treat. We're diving into a talk by the one and only Jim Rohn. This guy is like the godfather of personal development, so we're in for some serious wisdom.
Absolutely. He's a legend, and in this talk, he breaks down success into these 10 daily disciplines. They're like little tweaks you can make that can have a massive impact on your life. And some of them are pretty surprising, like the power of challenging your own beliefs or how being grateful can actually attract more good things into your life.
I know, right? I was hooked from the start. So where do we even begin with all this wisdom?
Well, the way Jim Rohn structures these disciplines is fascinating. It's like he takes us on this journey, starting with our inner world, like our attitude and mindset, then moving outwards to skills and eventually how we interact with the broader world, things like finances and purpose. And what's cool is that this framework, you can apply it to any goal, really.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The first discipline is all about attitude. And Jim Rohn, he has this amazing analogy. He says, attitude is like a magnet, either attracting or repelling opportunities. Have you ever felt like your own attitude held you back from something?
Oh, yeah, totally. It's like we self-sabotage sometimes, right?
Exactly. It's like, you have the potential, but your mindset is just blocking everything.
And I think that magnet analogy is so powerful because it's deeper than just, think positive. It's about approaching challenges with a constructive mindset. It's about resilience and learning to solve problems effectively. And those are skills you can develop. And a positive attitude is like the fuel.
I love that.
Yeah.
So next up, Jim Rohn talks about communication skills. And this is where it gets interesting. He really stresses the importance of listening.
Interesting.
Yeah, you'd think a great communicator would be all about talking, right?
Right, totally. But think about it. How many misunderstandings come from just not listening properly?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely guilty of that.
Yeah, me too. And Jim Rohn, he's highlighting that communication is the foundation of everything, relationships, business influence. And at the heart of that, it's empathy, really understanding where the other person is coming from.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So how do we become better listeners then?
Well, there's this technique called active listening. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, vaguely.
So it's basically where you're not just hearing the words, but you're really focused on understanding the message, reflecting back what you hear, asking clarifying questions. It's a skill that can totally transform how you connect with others.
I'm going to have to practice that one. Okay, so moving on to the discipline of self-discipline. And Jim Rohn has this quote that really hit me hard. He says, self-discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right? I mean, who hasn't struggled with self-discipline at some point? It's like a constant battle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He nails it with that bridge metaphor because without self-discipline, even the most brilliant ideas, they just fall apart. It's about having the willpower to stick to your plans even when things get tough.
So how do we actually strengthen that willpower muscle?
Well, here's the key. Jim Rohn suggests turning discipline into habits. Think about it like brushing your teeth. That's discipline turned into a habit. And when those desired actions become automatic, it frees up your willpower for bigger challenges.
That makes a lot of sense.
Huh.
Okay, one of the disciplines that really got me thinking was about challenging limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Jim Rohn argues that we're often held back not by external circumstances, but by what we believe about ourselves. Those inner voices saying, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough.
It's amazing how powerful our thoughts can be, and Jim Rohn gives this great example of someone who went from I can't to I'm learning, and it totally transformed their life.
Wow, that's incredible. So how do we start to shift those negative beliefs?
Well, this ties into cognitive behavioral therapy, which is all about identifying and challenging those negative thought patterns. One technique is called cognitive reframing. Basically, you learn to look at a situation from a different, more positive perspective.
So instead of thinking I'm a failure because I didn't get that promotion, you'd reframe it as this is an opportunity to learn new skills and explore other paths.
Exactly. It's about shifting your perspective.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is time management. And Jim Rohn has this simple but powerful point. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. It's how we use those hours that makes all the difference.
So true. We all have those days where we feel super busy, but we haven't actually accomplished anything meaningful.
Totally.
Yeah.
So how do we avoid those unproductive days then?
It's about being intentional with our time. Jim Rohn isn't just talking about working harder. He's talking about working smarter. He suggests planning not just work time, but also breaks, which ties into energy management,
Yeah, because if you just keep pushing and pushing, you're going to burn out.
Exactly. Especially for someone like you who's driven to achieve, it's easy to burn out. Strategically scheduling downtime allows you to recharge and ultimately be more productive.
I need to remember that This next discipline is for all the lifelong learners out there. Jim Rohn says formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. It's such a powerful reminder that learning doesn't stop after you graduate.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, especially in today's world where everything is changing so rapidly. The skills you have today might be obsolete tomorrow, so continuous learning is key.
That's a little scary, but also exciting, right?
Definitely. And the cool thing is there are so many resources available now, online courses, books, podcasts. You can curate your own learning journey based on your interests and career goals.
There's no excuse not to keep learning. Okay, let's keep moving. We've got more disciplines to uncover next up. Jim Rohn tackles finances. He keeps it pretty straightforward, advising spend less than you earn and invest the rest.
It sounds simple, but it's surprisingly difficult for a lot of people. It speaks to the psychology of money-delayed gratification, resisting those impulse purchases.
It's so easy to get caught up in that instant gratification cycle.
It is. And remember our discussion about self-discipline. Well, it plays a huge role in managing finances effectively. It's about making conscious choices about how you spend your money, rather than letting emotions or external pressures dictate your spending habits.
Yeah, you have to be in control. Jim Rohn then dives into personal development, emphasizing that life is about growth and becoming a better version of yourself. He talks about setting goals that are in alignment with your values. It's almost like he's guiding us on a journey of self-discovery.
That's a great observation because he's subtly pointing out that personal development isn't just about achieving external success. It's about aligning your actions with your core values and becoming the person you truly want to be. It's about identifying your strengths and weaknesses, setting goals that are meaningful to you, and then consistently working towards them. It's a lifelong journey of self-improvement and growth.
And speaking of journeys, Jim Rohn has this anecdote about a successful but deeply unhappy man who lacked a sense of purpose. It's a reminder that achievements can feel hollow without meaning.
That's a powerful point because purpose isn't always something you just stumble upon. It often unfolds over time as you explore your values, passions, and interests.
So how do we even begin to figure out our purpose?
Well, think about it. What activities make you feel truly alive? What problems do you feel passionate about solving? Journaling and reflection exercises can be incredibly helpful in uncovering your purpose.
I'm going to have to try that. So that's it for part 1 of our deep dive into Jim Rohn's 10 daily disciplines for success. Join us next time as we continue to explore these powerful principles.
And remember, folks, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to uncover, so stay tuned.
It's crazy how easy it is to lose sight of that bigger picture.
Yeah.
Why are we even doing all of this?
I know, right? We get so caught up in the day-to-day grind that we forget to ask ourselves, why am I doing all of this? What's it all for?
Exactly. And the answers can be surprising sometimes. It's not always about, some grand life mission. It can be about finding meaning in the everyday things, our relationships, our work, our hobbies.
Yeah, it's about aligning our actions with our values like we were talking about before.
Right. So on to the final discipline, gratitude. Jim Rohn believes that being grateful actually attracts more good things into your life.
That's interesting.
I know it sounds kind of woo-woo, but I've actually experienced it myself. There was this one day where everything seemed to be going wrong, and I was just feeling super frustrated.
Oh, I've been there.
So I decided to try this gratitude exercise where I just started writing down all the things I was grateful for. And it's crazy, but it completely shifted my perspective.
It's not woo-woo at all, actually. There's a growing body of scientific research that shows the positive impact of gratitude on well-being and resilience. It helps us focus on the good, even when things are tough.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So how do we actually cultivate more gratitude in our lives?
Well, the best part is it's a simple practice that anyone can do, Even something as small as taking a few minutes each day to write down 3 things you're grateful for can make a big difference.
Like a mental reset button, right?
Exactly. And it can really help to rewire your brain to focus on the positive.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here exploring Jim Rohn's 10 daily disciplines for success and how they can transform our lives. It's fascinating how he weaves together these seemingly simple ideas into such a powerful framework for personal growth.
It's not about trying to overhaul your entire life overnight. It's about making small, consistent changes in key areas. And remember, these disciplines are interconnected.
How so?
Well, for example, developing self-discipline can help you manage your time more effectively, which can then free up space for personal development and pursuing your purpose,
It's all connected.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach to personal growth.
So as we wrap up, let's try to distill the essence of each discipline into a single memorable phrase.
Oh.
How about for attitude being a magnet for opportunity?
Oh, I like that. For communication, how about empathy unlocks understanding?
Perfect self-discipline bridge to accomplishment.
Yes. Challenging limiting beliefs, thoughts can be changed.
Time management, invest your 24 hours wisely.
Knowledge, self-education is key.
Finances, spend less, invest the rest.
Personal development, become your best self. Purpose, discover your why, live it daily.
And finally, gratitude, attract more good.
There you have it.
Jim Rohn's wisdom in a nutshell.
So much good stuff. We've covered a lot in this deep dive. It's a lot to digest, but it's also incredibly empowering, you know? We hope you've gained some valuable insights and practical tools to apply to your own life.
And remember, you don't have to implement all 10 disciplines at once. Just pick one that resonates with you and start small. Consistency is key, you know? It's like building a muscle. The more you practice these disciplines, the stronger you become.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought-provoking question. Imagine you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice based on what we've discussed today. What would it be?
Wow, that's a tough one. It really makes you think, I think I'd tell my younger self to not be so afraid of failing. You know, I used to be so scared of messing up that I wouldn't even try new things.
Fear of failure. That's a big one. I think for me, I'd tell my younger self to just be more patient. You know, personal growth, it's not a race, it's a marathon. There are going to be setbacks and detours along the way, but it's important to keep moving forward, even if it's just one tiny step at a time.
That's so important. It's all about progress, not perfection, right?
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Jim Rohn's 10 daily disciplines, we encourage you to think about what really spoke to you. Which discipline are you going to focus on this week? What small change can you make today to get closer to your goals?
And hey, remember, you're not alone in this journey. Share your commitment with a friend or on social media. Having that accountability can really make a difference. We're all in this together, right? Supporting each other as we try to become the best versions of ourselves.
That's what it's all about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for our deep dive into Jim Rohn's 10 daily disciplines. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. It's some powerful stuff.
Definitely some food for thought.
We'll see you next time for another exciting journey into the world of knowledge and personal growth. Thanks for joining us.
See ya!